Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Our project is all about attendance management system. Our presentation will be divided into 6 topics. Me for introduction and overall description, Rose Ann for external interface requirements and system features, and Reynalee for other non-functional requirements and use case models. So what is the purpose of this attendance management system? The purpose of attendance management system is to track attendance and help teachers keep an eye on punctuality. Moreover, schools can also prevent dropouts using this management system. Teachers and school principals can understand the average percentage of students attending school each day in a year. If they see a drop, they can formulate policies to encourage students to attend classes and complete their education. The attendance management system offers various advantages to teachers and students. Now, teachers do not have to worry about recording manual attendance before every class. Next, what is the scope of this system? The scope of the system is to have a high-tech environment in the Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University community. That means by using the automatic attendance system, the community will transfer to the technical environment that they already have the Canvas system to help them manage the courses they have in the whole semester. This system will add some features in the automatic attendance system to Canvas by using fingerprint device in every classroom at Dimsu University. Now, let's go to overall description of the system. It is subdivided into 7 topics. First, product perspective. At Dimsu University, instructors manually take attendance in every class each day. They spend time to do that during class time. The automatic attendance system will help them to do this process in an easy way. The main scope of this project is to make attendance process more organized in every class. This project will help instructors take the attendance automatically without spending some time during the class. It will provide the instructor who is or who isn't present an early warning of high levels of non-attendance through the Canvas page. Second is the product features. There are 2 kinds of process model for this system. There is the overview process mode and the conditional process model. Starting with the first one, the first step of this process is to have a fingerprint capture device that will do the following steps. First, students enter their fingerprints into the device. Second, every fingerprint has a special code number for every recode. This code number takes the other step, which is matching. Third, the system checks on the fingerprint and sends to the server and the student's database. Fourth, in this database file, the system checks this print for the identification. Also, the database sends it to the registration office data file to check if this code exists or not. If the code number for the fingerprint is in both databases, the code number will continue for other steps, and if the code is not there, it will give you a false result. Then, it will send you to the registration office for the identification and look for your record to modify it if there is any issue. Then students will try again. There is another step after general identification. Last, checkpoint, which will check if the student data is enrolled in the particular class or not. If yes, the process will continue, and if not, the system will send you to the registration office to check. So let's go back to the overall description of the system. Third is the user characteristics. There are 3 types of user classes in this community. First, the students, second, the faculty, and third is the registration office. Fourth of the overall description of the system is the operating environment. This project will go through 2 steps. The first step is to have an automatic attendance device in every classroom in the school department. These devices will be connected to the computer and its system. Students have to put their fingerprints on file in the registration office in their first day to save their fingerprint data in the database. The second step is to connect the system to the Canvas site. That is to connect the Canvas database to the system database to work as one system on the Canvas site. This step would complete the work and the project will work in one system. That is because the attendance report will be updated all the time. Also, the Canvas site will control all the students' attendance report, not in a separate system or database. Fifth, design and implementation constraint. The hardware environment in this system will use the biometric fingerprints scanners. These scanners will play a role in the system. This device must be available in every classroom in the school. Also, it must be in the registration office. The interfaces for the hardware part are the same in the registration office interface. This part of the interface has also other components such as students' information, faculty information, class information, and other related information. All of these data are stored in the database and end with the device screen and web pages. Next is data model design. This system contains many processes to be completed. One of the processes is the database design. It needs to present data that is data understandable not only for the human being but also for the computers. This step would organize the needed data on every side of this project to make the database relationship. In this project, I will use the entities relationship diagram to help this project make the database relationship. The system has four entities, each with its own attributes: people, class list, courses, and canvas. The people entity has the student fingerprint ID, first name, last name, faculty fingerprint ID, first name, last name. Student and faculty ID are based on the code of the fingerprint in the system. The class list entity has class list ID, class ID, class data, and class time. The course entity has course ID, course name, credits, room number, and class time. Last is the assumptions and dependencies. The following is a list of assumptions and dependencies that would affect the software requirements if they turn out to be false. Users have basic understanding to biometric scanners. There is a method to convert all student information records from the existing system into attendance management system class. Next to discuss will be Rose Ann.
External interface requirements. User interface. In user interface, we have login display, welcome view page, error message view, add a new student, student report, faculty attendance report, miss class form. Login display. This is the main login in the system which appears in a biometric fingerprint scanner. This interface designed to be the device view in every class. Scan your thumb in the login to be to the class and the system. Welcome view page. This view will be also in the device screen. This page means the device accepts the fingerprint data and identify the person. So, in the screen, it will show the student information, name and her picture. Also, it has the data for the particular class at that time. Error message view. In the student data is not identified with the device. The student has to check with the registration office to fix that. This means this student not have a record in the system, or the student is in the wrong class or wrong class time. Next is the add new student. This page appears in the registration office when they add a new student. Students have to scan their fingerprint in the device, and then the fingerprint will added by the employer to make sure the student has his or her record with his or her information, not anyone else. The employer submits the information to the system, and the system will give a message that this student with his or her fingerprint information has added to the system. Next is student report. This page will appear in a separate page in the system. It is a web page gives the student current report during a semester. It has the weekly report, the check in each class and grade. It gives the student how many times he has been in a class and how many he missed. Also, it provides grades that a student makes during the semester. Next is faculty attendance report. This is a web page which has all student reports in the class. This page is controlled by a faculty member. Faculty can modify in this report. This page has the name, the time of the class, and the classroom number. It has weekly reports with the average of the students' attendance in every class time. Also, it calculates the total grade for every student. Last, miss class form. If a student miss a class, the system automatically will send the form or this form to the student should write their notes and submit it to the system. The system will send it to the faculty member to have the final decision. Hardware interface. Each room has an attendance scanner, and before entering the room, a student must time in to record their attendance. The attendance scanner scans the fingerprints of each student. Software interfaces. This attendance scanner will directly record to the school system. Student can log in to the system to see how many absences they have. The system will use biometric fingerprint devices display software. Web page for the forms, HTML, PHP. Server. Programming using JavaScript. Database uses with MySQL. System features. Insert students' information. User action. Normal scenario. Put your finger to scan your fingerprint. System reaction. Scanner display your name, section, and time you in, and also for timeout. Alternative scenario. Put your finger in front of the attendance scanner. Scanner display your name and section. And if the attendance scanner can detect your fingerprint, just put or type your school ID number. And the system reaction will display your name and section. And under student login is user action. Log in your DIMSU email, and system reaction. Display the home page which is the page that you have your name. And then click the attendance. It will display your attendance records. Activity diagram. Start. Admin login. Authentication. If it is invalid or valid. Under admin, it can generate report, fake that attendance, modify the attendance, manage errors like the errors. They input wrong information of that particular student, and they can log out. And that's the end of the admin login under the activity diagram. Activity diagram. Under Student, Start, Student Login, Authentication, Invalid or Valid. Can view authentication. Errors, view errors. Can complain if there is something wrong in the system. And log out. And yes, that's the end. Under the student login. And under the use case scenario, we have the two users, the administrator and the student. Under administrator can access the user management, data management, access control, and systems settings. And under the student can only access their student information.
Let's find out what's the other non-functional requirements. First, the 5.1 performance requirements. This system should work concurrently on multiple processors, college hours. The email should be sent within 1 hour after class gets over. The system should support taking attendance of maximum 20 students per class. The second is the 5.2 safety requirements. The gadget can transmit a signal for up to 100 meters. The mobile application, on the other hand, will take signals up to a particular value, depending on the size of the classroom. This figure may fluctuate, and the students will be unable to check in as long as they are not in the classroom due to this restriction. For the check-in, student may stay inside the signal limit. Student must also receive a signal for a specific number of days or for a specific amount of the time during the course in order to check in. As the result, the student will have classes throughout the term. And the third is the 5.3 security requirements. The security for the teacher should provide a password to log on to the system. He or she could be able to see the record of his/her class. The second is the user access. They are the student, faculty, and registration office staff who are going to use the system, the main actor of the user, and the entity of the student. The student will use entity every day by scanning their ID by the beginning of each class. Let's proceed. The 5.4 software quality attributes. The first is the availability. The system should be available only to authorized users of the colleges, like teacher to mark the students' attendance, students to view their enrolled course, admin to add and update students' records. The second is the portability. This software is a Windows-based application and a built-in Visual Basic Net and MySQL, so it is a platform independent and it's independent of operating system. The third is usability. This requirement is present as this system will interact with the user. And the user will be able to recognize the mobile application in a maximum of 3 steps that user will be able to access the mobile application. The 5.5 business rule. A business rule is a system-wide choice that you set on configuration business rule page. You may create rule for attendance entry using attendance business rule. If another user begins to input the attendance and class attendance entries already exist, select whether to notify the user or always allow the user to submit the attendance if class attendance records already exist. If the user is alerted, he or she can choose whether or not to replace the previous entries. If another user begins to enter the class attendance and the attendance entries already exist, Select whether to alert the user, always allow, or never allow the user to input the class. If the attendance record already exists, if the user is alerted, he or she can choose whether or not to replace the previous entries. When taking attendance by meeting at this time, select homeroom or class to signify when users are required to report the attendance as taken when entering the attendance alone. Note, when an academic year is set up to track attendance by day only. This business rule only applies when you choose class. The meeting at this time section appear, allowing you to specify the time. And also, in the non-functional requirements, we need the other requirements, the 6. The system maintenance is far more than finding mistakes. Provision must be made for environment changes which may affect either the computer or parts of the computer-based system. Such activity is normally called maintenance.